So this is the latest in a series of discussions that I am having with some of the coaching staff at the Canterbury Academy. And today I'm delighted to have Adam Davis and Billy Beddoe with me, who represent the Kent Crusaders basketball side and are firmly embedded in the school as practically full-time members of staff. So what we're going to do, the purpose of this discussion is just to sort of give new players a little bit of an insight into the workings of the Sixth Form Basketball Academy and what they can expect once arriving in September and obviously throughout the whole year. So if we just sort of kick things off, Adam, if you just want to start by just giving everyone a little bit of an idea about your background and your involvement in the game.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, was a player when I was a lot younger and then got into coaching when I was about 18, 19 in Sixth Form. Did some community coaching and then got into National League coaching a little bit later on. Coached in Ipswich to start with in Suffolk. Was quite a young head coach after doing my qualifications, and then got involved with regional eventually through county. Regional was a great challenge for me, but also very rewarding. Worked with some great coaches. Was very fortunate to work with a couple of very good East teams that won the tournament a couple of times. Through that, got invited to go to an England camp as a sort of like a third assistant, where I was just there as the water boy, where I met Jesse Cezanne, who was the head coach at the time and works at now, was working at Canterbury and is still working at Canterbury, and basically built a relationship there. And eventually, to cut a long story short, applied to be an assistant coach here at Canterbury when a job came up, and got it. Obviously, continued to work with England under 15 boys. I went to Copenhagen a couple of times. Worked with the England under 16 98 generation that went to the Division A European Championships. Also worked with GB under 16 girls, the 02 generation that went to the European Championships as well in Macedonia. Here at Canterbury, worked up from second assistant to first assistant. I've now been the head coach for the last 3 seasons. Obviously, I've worked on some Den camps. I've worked on some Hoops Fix camps, and obviously, like I said, this is my 3rd season down here in Canterbury, and hoping to keep building on it.
Fantastic. Well done for remembering everything there as well. You know, that's very impressive sort of roll call to an extent. Billy, just want to sort of chip in where you've been and what you've been involved with?
Yeah, I guess would have started playing in Cambridge, just down the road from Adam. So we're from, similar regions. Played for a pretty long time. Both my mum and dad were players. So I didn't really have a choice. I was always going to play basketball. Went to a basketball academy myself for a year, and that led to going to play in America at a small Division 3 school. So not super high level, but, high compared to what I was playing in England. And I studied out there for 4 years, played for 4 years in North Carolina, and studied physiotherapy. And at the end of my degree, decided it was time to come home because I wasn't sure that I wanted to go into physiotherapy. And basically just looked up some jobs, and the school that I was at had a part-time teacher job going. So I did part-time teaching, part-time coaching at the school. And that was when I first got into coaching straight away. And conveniently, I then applied for a regional job to get involved in regional coaching, and walked in on day one, and the head coach of the program was Adam. And I was his assistant, 8 years ago or whatever it was now, maybe even longer. So me and Adam, from kind of my first exposure to performance coaching all the way to now, have been working together. When Adam moved on from regional coaching, I took his job there and moved up. And then pretty similar, when Adam was part of England, he called me up again and said, come and get involved in what we're doing here. So, I made the coffee and everything, and got involved in the England program a little bit, and have now continued to, last year I was assistant coach with the England under 15 boys. And then this year, technically I'm head coach of the England under 15 boys, but we haven't actually done anything yet really. We had one camp, and then we were fortunately shut down. So looking forward to when all this blows over, getting back on court with them and kind of experiencing basketball at that level as well. I think now 4 years ago, I was at an England camp with Adam and Jesse, and they mentioned that there might be the opportunity of a job. And that was my job interview there and there, basically, at the camp. And I haven't really looked back since. I left as soon as it was the summer, started down here in September of 2016, 17, I think it probably was. And like Adam said as well, started off, third assistant, I think I was in my first year, and now I'm Adam's lead assistant.
Fantastic. I mean, from both of you, what's obvious is that you've served your apprenticeships. You've done the hard yards, and I know there's been a lot of late hours, early mornings, and everything. Certainly, something as a director of sport to be involved with the coaching staff at work on this program. What doesn't necessarily come out is how much Adam and Billy invest in their coaching, and always seeking a competitive advantage, always very, very strong on the self-reflection and everything. It's good that Billy didn't go into physio. If anyone sees the state of my finger after I dislocated it during a game of staff basketball, will realise that he's made the right career move there. Anyway, listen, let's sort of kick things off now by just sort of getting a little bit more into the actual nature of your program. And then Adam, if you just want to start us off, what could can you describe what a new player should expect from your sixth form program?
I think the first thing off, as soon as they come in, they're going to be sort of quite blown away, I believe, with what they're going to get. They're not going to be used to what they get. An average player normally trains maybe twice a week, maybe an hour and a half each session, maybe getting 5-6 hours a week with one game, and that's late in the evening. And then they'll jump into, we train every single day. We'll go for 2 hours every day. That's obviously in the school timetable, it's during school. So again, that's a different situation. You're not going to school, coming home, and then going off to practice. You have to fit in training within sort of lessons and stuff. So that's A, different, but B, also, like I said, training every day is different from most of the guys. On top of that, they'll get some individual practice. So again, players coming in might go down the park a little bit. They might work with a coach once a week for an hour, a bit of a skill session. But here you're going to get 2 hours a week that's really specific to you. It's based on an action plan. After about 6 to 8 weeks, we get to know you quite well. We'll build an action plan around your areas to improve. It'll be based on basketball, it'll be based on lifestyle, based on mental, based on physical. And I say based on that, we'll work with you on an individual basis in a small group twice a week. And then on top of that, you'll get S&C with a professional coach. Our professional coach, Tony Kekosodiu, he's been a professional basketball player, and he now works with players in our academy. And again, based on your action plan, you'll get from us, but also you'll get a specific plan from him based on testing. Again, you'll work in a gym with him on basketball specific movements to make you a better basketball player. It won't be getting stronger biceps or chest press necessarily. It will be how to make you jump higher, land correctly, run faster, play defense quicker, those kind of things. And then, other things on top of that, we'll team meet twice a week. And in those team meetings, we look at video. So again, not a lot of guys have experienced video work. Again, they might have watched a game back that their mum or dads have kindly recorded. But we will break every game down that we play in the EABL. We team debrief it on areas we can be better at, tactical, technical. Each player will receive an individual video from EABL games. Again, areas to improve, things that coaches see. We scout a lot. Again, no one's really experienced a scout before, especially guys coming in. We scout all EABL opponents. So again, you're expected to learn that, know that, watch the video. What we want to do against certain players, how we want to play against certain teams, which again is quite a new thing for players. Like they might have just done one or two, like know a player's left-handed, but we go into way more detail than that, especially with team plays and their style of play and how we're going to break that down. From a basketball side of things, that's what they'll expect when they jump in. Like I said, it's very, very exciting to start with, and it should be. Like that's kind of why guys come in. The other thing they'll expect is to go up against top players every day, which is a big thing coming from, again, a club where most of the players that come here are normally they're better players within their club, normally the best players. They score most of the points, they've got a big responsibility. And then, they'll jump into a situation when they're playing against guys who are potentially 3 years older than them. We have multiple guys that play for England each year, or, regional players, go off to bigger and better things. So playing against them every single day is, again, great, is fantastic. It's kind of why guys come here. But also, it's also difficult. You go from a situation where you're the best player to a situation where potentially you are bottom of the pile. No, mate, you're a rookie. You know, you're asked to carry the balls to the away games. You have to carry the walk balls. You have to fill them up at the halftime break. So yeah, that's another step that guys kind of need to understand. And I guess the last thing from me before Billy takes over a little bit with some academic stuff maybe, but it's just the accountability. You know, myself, Billy, we have two other full-time coaches in Jesse Cezanne, who's an ex-England coach, who me and Billy have mentioned, who was the head coach, a lot of experience. And then Rhys Davies, a young up-and-coming regional coach. You know, between us, we've all kind of got national team experience. We all treat every day like a national team camp. And also the expectations and standards are as high as a national team would be ran. So, you know, the accountability we hold on players in terms of punctuality, making sure you bring the right practice jersey, making sure you're there 10 minutes before they're meant to be, even just the way you train. You know, the standards are set here. If your potential's here, we want you to reach that potential every day. And if you're not reaching it, then we're going to hold you to account, and we're going to try and, you know, push you as hard as we can for you to reach that potential or even beyond. And of course, you know, we offer support, and we're there all the time to do that. But in practice, it's difficult and it's competitive. And like I say, it can be an environment that some players thrive in and some players don't. But we're always there to guide and support in ways that, you know, to try and reach that potential for sure.
I mean, again, you've done that brilliantly, and I sort of pick up on a couple of things. I really like that analogy of you guys try to treat it like a national camp every day. I haven't heard you talk about that, and I think that's a really good way of sort of almost getting an outsider to think about what it's going to be like when they're here. A few things came through that. I think, you know, that high level of challenge and that high level of support. Let's think about that high level of support as we go over to Billy in a minute. You know, Adam there, Billy has talked about tactical, technical, mental, S&C, but he's also talked about lifestyle. And across all of our sixth formers, we know that transition from coming from year 11 and doing your GCSEs, where you have a school timetable that's mapped out for you and every single hour or even minute of the day is accounted for, it changes in our sixth form. We have a sort of college type curriculum where, you know, there are independent study periods, there's gaps, there's rest, there's recovering, everything. But a lot of students, whether they're basketball players, whether they're cricketers, whether they're rugby players, whatever it is, sometimes struggle with that transition. Can you sort of talk about a little bit your pastoral role within this setup?
Yeah, for sure. I think the intensity of the program is straight away as soon as you get there. And as you kind of referred to, like, therefore the support is huge. It's a program that Adam's, you know, been building for the last 2 to 3 years at the head of it, and Jesse before that. And I think, you know, they would both say that every year they reflect on it and improve certain things and see, you know, areas that do need improvement. And I think we're now at a place with this where we're able to kind of troubleshoot a lot of things before they actually happen. So what Adam spoke about, everything being in your school timetable, it means your evenings are your own. And because you have that time in the evening where you're not rushing off to club training and kind of, you know, eating your food in the back of your mum or dad's car and everything, you do actually have the time to really, really look after yourself. So the work that Mark Dayson does on educating the players on recovery and prehab and injury prevention is huge. The work that we do on educating players on how to cook nutritious meals and the meals that are going to help them recover really, really well is very important. And then essentially, you know, lots of our players are residential. So they've moved away from home and they live in our residential houses and they have a house manager to look after them. But how they use their time is then up to them. So, you know, I play a big role in helping them have an efficient study space to begin with. You know, you haven't just got a massive TV on your desk in your bedroom and therefore you're not going to get work done at home. And, you know, your room looks a certain way because everyone knows that a tidy room is the most efficient way to recover and everything. And, you know, as Adam said, we're on call all the time if they need support with that. But I guess it's also school, like you teach, Phil, and you will have seen me sneak into the back of your lessons a lot and just kind of poke my head in to make sure our boys are in there and they've got their heads down and they're working hard, and we don't make them wear a shirt and tie and all of that sort of rubbish. But, you know, we do make sure that they are as passionate about their studies as they are about the basketball stuff as well, and it all links together.
Excellent. Good stuff. And obviously, you know, basketball, there are a variety of programs across the country that could offer similar stuff. So I'm interested with, you two here now. Could you provide people listening to this or watching this just with an idea of the unique selling points of attending the Canterbury Academy and being part of a Crusaders program?
Yeah, for sure. Like you say, it's, there's I believe 14 EABL institutes currently this year, which means to be EABL you have to meet certain standards and regulations and offer certain things like professional support, so many hours on court. The coaches have to be certain qualifications and so on and so on. Obviously, each academy is slightly different now with certain situations. Residential can be slightly different. So our residential setup is slightly different to others. We have 4 houses. Each house has 3 to 4 players in, with a house manager in each, an adult. So that's quite unique, I think, across the board. And it kind of offers that halfway point between being at home with mum and dad or a guardian to being at university where you're completely on your own. You have some in the house. Our biggest selling point, we believe, and very unique, is the 4 coaches we have. We have a squad of about 20 to 24 players, and it's one team that trains all together every day, like I said before. And we don't have a girls team. We don't have 2 teams. So the 4 coaches that I've mentioned all work with the 24 players on a daily basis. Each player it's a 1-to-6 ratio. Each player gets multiple feedback each session. The fact that we have so many coaches means we can do more individuals. It means we can do more video work. It means there's more support for you there. As Billy said before, all of us are full-time within the academy. We have an office that I'm sitting in right now within the academy. We're here all day, all the time. Guys pop in all the time. We're not just here for team practice. We're not just around for those 2 hours. We talk about for 3 hours of the day, I am the basketball coach, and I am going to coach you hard and hold you account and really push you physically, mentally, and emotionally to get the best out of you. But then for 21 hours of the day, I'm here as, whatever I need you to be, wherever you need me to be, sorry. Whether it's a first aider, I need to take you to the hospital, whether it's a person to speak to about whatever, whether it's a bigger brother to help you out with some life stuff, or Billy's helping you out with where the best hairdresser is in Canterbury, like whatever, 21 hours is there for real support, whatever you need, and 3 hours is where we're really going to coach you really, really hard. And like I said, the 4 coaches that we have, 3 of us have all, been to European championships. We've all worked with national teams. We've all been to Den camps. We understand talent. We know what talent is. We all have the same philosophy in terms of building a person, someone who's employable, who go out there and work hard at any job, someone who, will be a great dad, husband, whatever. Like, that's a real point to us. So we don't just build a basketball player for Canterbury. We build a real a basketball player that can play anywhere with our philosophy and playing style, but also someone who, like I said before, is employable and can go on and work hard wherever. So, and like I said, that comes from all 4 coaches working on that. The other uniqueness, I believe, is our professional support. Again, you have to offer professional support with all the ABL academies for sure, and it's so many hours, and you have to meet certain qualifications. Where we go above and beyond. So first of all, Mark Dayson is the physio for the whole academy. Like, he does all the football, cricket, athletics, rugby, but he's a basketball guy. He's been a GB physio for 8 years. He's been to 20 European champions, I believe. He's got all the shirts in his physio room that's on site. He's here for 3 days a week. He offers all our guys a personal plan for prehab, so they have to do before practice, and that's again based on testing that's done. I don't believe any other academy does that. He comes to all our games. No academy has a physio at any of their games. We have him every single home and away game. And like I said, he's there again for 24 hours of the day. Our guys will use him a lot, text him if they have problems. And like I said, he's a basketball guy, so he understands it, and he also knows what the top level looks like, because like I said before, he's been there and done it. And then Tony, again, every program will have S&C. Where we go above and beyond. We don't do team sessions. We don't have all the boys in the gym at the same time doing exactly the same exercise, and getting very, very little feedback, because one coach can't look at 20 players. So Tony's employed for like 18 hours a week, and he offers, like I said, the individual. So every player gets 2 individuals a week with him. Really small sessions. Tony tests them every 8 weeks, and based on those results, you get a plan that's very specific to you, that involves like I said, a multitude of different areas for you to work on: mobility, strength, power, agility. And yeah, because it's you and maybe 1 or 2 players, or 3 or 4 players in the gym, you're getting a lot of feedback. You know, the guys seem to learn techniques a lot quicker than most other guys, because he's just there all the time, and he's there to see every movement, every rep, every set. And also in the gym that we have, it's a very unique room. It's a performance room that we've got on site that the guys work in. So again, you know, it's just really player-centered, athlete-centered around them and what they need, rather than what the team needs. And also really focused on them becoming an all-round player for the journey that they'll go on to do, rather than just be a Canterbury basketball player. So I think the amount of time that we invest in the players, the amount of time that we can invest because of the coaches and the level of coaches we have, is our biggest unique selling point for sure, on top of also the professional support that we offer, which is way beyond what, you know, the standard is for sure.
And I think, you know, you're probably being modest a little bit as well, and it's difficult for you guys to comment on this, but I think the other unique selling point is what I almost referred to right at the start when you guys finished your introductions, the investment in the time that you guys devote to these players individually, you know, caring about how they're going academically, caring about what's going on at home, caring about how they transition from living at home and mum and dad maybe doing everything for them, and suddenly out in the big wide world having to cook in the evenings and look after themselves. I think that is a unique selling point, which, you know, I completely appreciate why you wouldn't have said that yourselves, but I think from the outside that's what it looks like to me. Billy, let's come to you now, because I mean, Adam's already talked about one of the big demands of the program is that, you know, the guys are training daily. And they're training against some really, really decent players. And I want to concentrate on these decent players now. So just tell me a little bit about how a high-performing 16-year-old basketball player would be challenged on your program.
I think it's almost like to look at it from a whole perspective. If you want to take up the opportunity, there's not much you're missing out on with us. Like, you know, there is hours and hours where myself, Adam, whoever, go home and get our laptops out and make a video for them again to watch in the evening, you know, based on the sessions they did today. We're not doing 1,000 hours of rubbish. You know, we plan every single session together as a coaching staff and think about what the individual player and therefore also the team need. We record every single practice session in case we want to watch it back and review it, or clip the tape to show the player something. You know, we meet once a fortnight and discuss every single player. Every single term, like Adam said, we have the action plans. So it's not, you know, we really, really invest ourselves into all the hours that we have. It's not just ticking a box that we trained today. It's how did we train? How well did we do? Did we develop that player? So I think, you know, as a 16-year-old, as Adam said, you haven't got that before. And coming into it, it's obviously a huge shock. And I think, you know, living with us helps. Being here every single day helps, and feeling really part of this group that are striving for the same thing really helps, because then you just, once you're comfortable, you allow yourself to be pushed every single day. And, you know, we don't just practice once a day and go home. Like, we look after you, we make sure it's S&C, it's individual. You know, sometimes we have study sessions where they have to stay off school and do a bit of extra work, because we just want to make sure that, you know, that's not going to be a problem or an area that might hold them back. So yeah, I just think it's when you really put it all together and talk about it, it is crazy the amount of like planning, the amount of reflection we do after the sessions, because I think it would be very easy as coaches to just do the session. But kind of the personality of the team, the personality of the coaches involved in it, and therefore the personality that rubs off on the players, is just that every detail matters.
And I think, again, looking at it, you know, people could be listening to this thinking, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough being at Canterbury. That's demanding. That's intense. That's professional. But I think what maybe isn't coming across is how there's a real togetherness within the group. The players love being part of the group. They love being involved. They accept that there's going to be challenging times and that they're going to have to work hard. But I think they vote with their feet. A lot of them stay on and do a third year in our sixth form. And the amount of ex-players that come back and want to sort of keep that attachment to the programs that you guys are running. I think that's quite important that people realise that. Would you agree with that, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, we only offer an opportunity, and that's all we can offer. We can't promise anything, and it's completely down to the player what they take up and what they put into it. We've had players come here who have been, England players, guys who have been to under 15 Copenhagen tournament, have dominated, and then come here, and we'll be honest, like they've got the same thing everyone else has got, and they've kind of like just plateaued, like they haven't taken full opportunity of it. We've also had players come here who is a fringe regional player and then gone on to play, NCAA 2, gone on to play for GB under 18s after never ever being on a even near a GB team. So like I said, it's an opportunity that is there, and if you grab it with two hands or jump in with 2 feet and you run with it, your potential is through the roof. And then, with Jesse started the academy, I want to say 14 years ago. And those guys still come back every summer. There's 3 or 4 of those guys that have played professionally or still are playing professionally in England, even abroad. And they come back every summer, and we'll work out of our guys, because of what they get with us. They know they're going to get coached, they're going to get pushed hard with the coaches that are here, but also to slightly to give back to the guys. And they love, we're a Crusader, and they're always a Crusader, and they'll come back and be a Crusader and give back to Crusaders in any way possible. And even the most recent guys that have gone off in the last 2 or 3 years, again, they come back every summer to work out. We text them, they text us, find out how the season's going, what our guys are doing, finding out how the guys in the academy, where they're going, can they help them, can they support them. We'll bring guys back to have conversations with our guys to talk about their experience for sure. So, I mean, it's like I said, we're all in. You have to be all in. Everyone here is in the same boat. We're all trying to achieve the same things. As a team, we're obviously trying to achieve results and performance, but also individuals are trying to reach their own individual goals. And we celebrate each one of those, and whether it's academically, whether it's basketball, we'll like I say, celebrate that as a team. And I think the big part of it is our culture. Like, our culture, and it's easily definable. We have a huge poster on our sports hall with 4 words on it, and these 4 words are spoken about every single day. Passionate, united, humble, and tough. They mean something to everyone, slightly different. Actions based on those look different, but at the end of the day, they're the 4 words we speak about every single day. And the guys resonate to that. And I think if you talk to the guys over the last 6-7 years, you say, what's our culture? And they'll say those 4 words. So again, there's a bond that's around those things that I say unite us, bring us together, that we fight for, that we all understand why we're here and what we want to do on a daily basis.
I mean, and listen, it's sort of almost exciting again hearing you, talk about this sort of stuff and everything, and the involvement with it on a day-to-day basis must be fantastic for players and fantastic for the staff. I mean, Billy, just coming to you, Adam just talked about the fact that a route for some players is professional basketball, but can you just sort of maybe outline some of the other, destinations that the guys go on to once they finish with us?
Yeah, I think for the very lucky ones, it is professional basketball. But we're all aware that sport is just extremely competitive. But I think everyone's also really aware, and it's why we can have a program like ours, that sport gives you so much that is outside of the actual sport. So, we've talked about how extensive the program is. One of the main things that you have to have, is a work ethic to be able to be part of that program. And, Adam and I always joke all the time, like we wonder if these office guys in London go home and review their day, do they listen back to their phone calls they made or whatever, because that's genuinely what we do. And it's what we ask our players to do as well. So you've got to have really, really good timekeeping. You've got to be committed. You've got to be able to work as part of a group. You've got to be comfortable receiving feedback and being pushed. And if you can do those things, I can't think of many jobs, you can't then move into. And we have a lot of our guys who go on to do things and just say, it was like more demanding at Canterbury than what I'm doing now. Like, I was ready for that and I left. And actually now, I miss having that day-to-day grind because what I'm doing now seems really easy compared to it. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to go out of it and be a professional basketball player. You can just be a professional in the wider world.
And I think just to add on that, I think, like I said before, we want to build great human beings, great young men that can go on and accomplish anything. So, like Billy said, whether that's within the workplace, you know, we've got guys playing at Loughborough right now, the best sports university probably in Europe. You know, playing on a Division 1 team. You know, we've got guys who've just gone to university in Essex, also playing Division 1. You know, we've got guys potentially going to Solent this year. So, you know, the British University route is a route that we'll push. You know, there's some great programs out there. And obviously, we have contacts and we know the guys, and the universities are always talking to us about players that they can recruit or players that they're interested in. You know, so yeah, I said most of the dreams are to go over to the States, but you know, the British University is a great route, and a lot of our guys have done that over the last couple of years and been very, very successful as well. So
good stuff.
The amazing thing is, like basketball as well, we've had guys who have been pretty good, been given an offer for a university, and then they see how good they are at basketball and the offer becomes lower. And, you know, normally they don't need a lower offer for university. They make the grades anyway, but it'll open up doors for you in terms of that as well. You can get money for it. You know, you can get paid to be on the basketball team, and it means that you've got less of a student loan at the end of it. Which, you know, you're getting paid to play then. You are a professional, really.
I mean, I think it's probably the one program within our sixth form that's quite hard to sell in 25 minutes, and you two have done brilliantly here. And there's additional stuff out there. You know, the Kent Crusaders social media is fantastic, and on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you know, your own website, and that can be linked through by almost going onto the Canterbury Academy sixth form sort of page as well. So, you know, I think people hopefully will be able to get more information quite easily. But I suppose my challenge for you now, just to wrap this, is almost some final takeaways, you know, something that, you know, just wraps it now, is in an essence, in a couple of sentences. You know, why should someone come here for their basketball? I mean, let's go Adam first. Gives you a bit of thinking time, Bill.
Yeah, and just to add on to your point, Phil, we have a video on YouTube. If you search Canterbury Crusaders basketball overview, gives you about 15 to 16 minute overview of basically everything that we offer with some video, and you can kind of see the program almost with the facilities and stuff. So it gives you really good insight that way. Yeah, I mean, why do I think you should come here is pretty simple for me. Obviously, I'm quite biased, but you know, to become a Crusader, basically, and what that means to become a Crusader is I've talked about our culture. You know, you'll learn about passionate, you'll learn about humble, you'll learn about tough, you learn about united. You'll come here and have probably the best 2 years of your life, if I'm honest with you, for most players. You know, the resources you get, you play basketball every single day, you're around people who have the same like mindset, you have coaches that care about you, and a school that's, you know, invested in you and support you as well. And you'll be pushed, you know, you'll be pushed to reach your potential. And like I said, most guys will leave here a way better person than when they walked in. And for me, you know, that's one of the main goals. So yeah, and you'll leave here a Crusader, and you'll always be a Crusader, and you'll be welcome back at any time.
Over to you, Bill. Has he just nicked all the good bits there?
I was going to say, I think I got the bad order, actually. I'll throw a curveball out there because I don't think I can add much to what Adam actually said, apart from, you know, we can also let our track record and our past players just do the talking for us, really. If you're a young person who is thinking about attending Canterbury, speak to, you know, someone you know who maybe went here, or go on our social media, and, you know, it's full of our alumni and ex-players on there, and speak to them and hear how they talk about, you know, the 2 or 3 years they spent with us, you know, the fact that we actually do what we say we do, and they get what we offer every single day, and you know, the way and with the professionalism that's delivered. So I'm going to say speak to them instead. And you know, the proof is in the pudding.
Very good. Nice way to finish it. Very good. Look, I've really enjoyed that. Hopefully those of you that have sort of listened through this have got a real feel for what the guys can offer down here and what you can experience if you become part of the Crusaders program at the Canterbury Academy. Thanks ever so much for listening and watching as well. Just look onto the website, look onto the social media platforms that Adam's referenced there as well. And yeah, we will hopefully see you in September 2021.